Okay, now it's still recording. We've got everybody in here. Isabella, okay. Okay. Everybody.
I had a question about the hours today. So on the text, it says from 1 to 2, but then I got another text saying that it starts at 2, so I'm kind of confused.
Okay, do you have a number to start that 2 at? Like, did it give you another number for the 2 o'clock class?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end the class like 5 minutes before so that you guys can actually log off of mine, and then you're gonna log on to that other number. Okay, just like you know how you log on to mine?
Uh-huh.
Okay, Miss Becky's gonna talk to you on that other one. Okay.
Is that class also an hour long too?
Oh, I'm not sure. It's, it might be, it might not be. I think she's just trying to give you a heads up on what's going on.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because she wants to touch base with a lot of you, you know what I mean?
Right there.
Uh-huh.
Wait, get her?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, hon. So mine's gonna be the theory, and then she's gonna give you like a heads up on, you know, how you can keep in touch with her and stuff like that.
All right.
Especially the ROPs that are at home.
Yes, that's what I called, and they said that the second meeting at 2 o'clock is specifically for ROP.
Yeah, because we want to make sure that you know how to hold your shears if you're having any difficulty, you know what I mean? Things that it kind of is hard to do when you're not here, you know?
Yeah.
We want to make sure you understand what's going on. I do know that when I was teaching my estheticians, it was very hard for them to do a facial. And so I had them on the computer talking to me, but I had them have their phone on another line, like, and they would put the phone on the person they were doing the facial on, like a family member, and I would watch from there to see what was going on. So it's kind of hard when you have to stand away from somebody and not knowing if they're actually doing exactly what you would tell them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that class is going to be to find out how you guys are doing, you know?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm like trying to get everybody in here before I start. Okay, those of you that were already in the room, okay, we're going to be on chapter 10. It's going to either be 10.2 or 10.3, but it's the one that has thermal designs, okay? Because depending on your book, it'll say 10.2 or 10.3. Because my notes for my old textbook here, it says 10.3, but my notes for the online say 10.2. I just want to make sure everybody understands. Okay, are there cosmetologists that are on this theory that are not with the ROPs, that you're just night students or day students that have some theory behind them already? Let's say like phase 1 or, I mean, phase 2. Anyone in here? No?
I am.
Hi. Okay. What are you at, hon? Are you on phase 1 or phase 2?
Phase 2.
Okay. So you actually have a textbook, or do you have the online book?
Online.
Okay. So I don't know how you do this. Some of you can do this way. This is what I have my students do, but some of you can't do it this way. Let me get Jessica in here. What I have them do is, if you can, you're going to have your online stuff on your computer, and then you can use your phone too on another line just to help you fill in the workbook. Does that make sense? So if you need 2 of them and you can put it up, that's great. So you know, because you don't have a workbook and a textbook in front of you. So one would have the actual textbook and the other one would have the study guide, basically, right? Okay, just so that you get an idea of what I was talking about. Okay, now the ROPs that do not have a study guide, you can't do that with. It's just a pivot point usually. Okay. I'm gonna give them like 1 more minute, and pull in the last person, and then everybody's in. Everyone's still here. So you guys are working with me, thank God. All right, I want to make sure everyone's in here. If when I switch over to the other screen, it'll run the video, okay? And I probably won't be able to see if somebody's trying to get into the room for a moment, okay? But the video is kind of short, so I just want to play that first before I even do anything else, okay? So let me switch screens here for a minute.
Miss Janie, if I wanted to order the study guide or even the book, which one do I order?
Okay, so the workbook is easiest so that you can actually do the work and fill it in as you're working it, you know, for your notes and theory and stuff like that. I would order that one if you had to, because you can do your textbook online, but you can order it from Pivot Point.
Oh, through Pivot Point? Okay.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna hit share the screen, so hold on a second, okay? Just let me know. Okay. Okay, can you guys see the screen that I've changed over to, like, looks like it's a video with a little arrow on it? Is it coming up on your side?
Mine, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I just make sure everybody has it before I start it, okay? Okay, has everybody got it on their screen? Okay, I didn't hear anybody else. All right, so I'm gonna play it first, okay? Here we go. Let me know if you can hear. And that little squirrel's in there just running like crazy. Okay. Great. Bear with me.
I can't hear the video.
You can't? Okay, let me do this.
No, but I see it moving.
Okay, what did you say, hon? You can't hear it?
No, I can't hear it, but it is moving.
Okay, is anybody else having trouble hearing it? Do you have speakers on your...
I can't hear it either.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, hold on. Okay, let's see if you can hear this now. It hasn't been playing yet. No, I can't hear it. Okay.
Maybe unshare your screen and then reshare it again.
What was it you said?
Like unshare your screen,
Okay.
and then reshare the screen.
Okay, let's do that then. Okay.
Maybe that'll.
Yeah, I know. And it's just not. Okay. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. All right. You guys still there with me? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to try and share it again. Okay, hold on. Okay. Have you got a screen yet?
It takes a second to load.
I know, that's what I'm asking. Okay, can you see it yet?
Yeah, it just popped up.
Okay. All right, let me see if it will actually give us sound. If nothing else, I'll go back to my just my slides. I know this is annoying, but I'm trying to do the best I can with this computer. I'm still spinning. Can you hear it?
No, it's not playing.
Okay. Yeah, it's not doing anything here either. All right, I'm gonna stop this here for a minute. I'm wasting so much time on this. There you go. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna try and bring up your slides, okay? Are you with me still? Just hang on a second.
Yeah, we're still here.
Okay. Okay. Coming up slowly. This is crazy. See, now I know why I like to give lectures on without the videos in this internet, because it wastes so much time trying to put this thing together. Okay. All right, it's almost finished. Okay, I'm gonna share the screen now. Okay, you guys ready? I'm gonna hit share the screen. Here we go. Okay, let me know when you finally see the screen, okay?
I can see the slides.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring this up because it's basically giving us an introduction on what thermal styling is, okay, infection control. It's basically telling us the things that are going on through this chapter. Okay, so we'll talk about air forming on a graduated form, a 9-row brush, air forming on a layered form with a round brush, air forming with a combination form on a 9-row brush. So this is just telling us what we're gonna learn. I'll keep going in for this one. Sure would be nice if these just kind of, all right. So it's going to be explaining and demonstrate the thermal styling. See, again, this is something we need to see you doing, you know what I mean? So that's what Miss Becky's gonna actually have talk with you about. All right, so here's your definition, okay, on thermal styling, okay? It's the technique of drying and styling hair using a handheld dryer while simultaneously using your fingers, your brushes, pressing combs, and or thermal curling iron, okay? It's giving you, you have a round brush on that first one. Okay, and you have a curling iron on the third one right there. Okay. All right, thermal styling theory is temporary texture changes are possible because physical bonds can be broken with water and heat and then reformed. So basically what they're talking about is I can change the style every time I get it wet and re-dry it again and curl it. So I'm making temporary changes because it's not permanent, okay, by using water or heat, meaning the blow dryer or the shampooing, okay. Okay, air forming, AKA blow drying, all right? It's the process of simultaneously drying and styling the hair to create a new form. It's performed on wet hair using our blow dryers and their attachments along with brushes, combs, your fingers to create the temporary direction changes and texture changes. Okay. All right. Can anyone name what kind of brush that is by looking at it?
A flat brush.
Okay, or a paddle brush. It's a paddle brush. And how about what's on the end of that blow dryer?
A diffuser.
A concentrator.
A concentrator, yeah. The diffuser is the big round one. Okay, but this one's concentrating on a specific area, so that's why it's called the concentrator.
Got it, thank you.
Okay, hair forming with your blow dryers, okay? They're used to form wet hair while using your brushes, combs, and fingers to create that temporary direction and texture change. It's available in different sizes and shapes, and they vary in the amount of wattages. Okay, they go anywhere from like 1350 to 2400, I think. Okay, and the hotter it is, the faster it's going to dry the hair. Okay, blow dryers consist of a slotted nozzle or a heating element, a small motor and a fan, temperature and airflow controls, and a handle. So it basically can show you on the side of it, there's your nozzle, your controls are on right below the main part of that dryer. The handle is right below that. And you see that thing on the bottom on the left-hand side, that's your diffuser if you were asking, okay? That's what it looks like. These include the attachments such as concentrators that focus on the airflow to a small area and the diffusers that spread a gentle airflow over a larger area. That diffuser is actually sending the heat without the air, okay? So someone that has very curly hair and you use the diffuser on, you want to dry the hair without making it frizzy, okay? So the diffuser is doing just that. It's sending that heat without sending that airflow through it, because once the airflow goes through, it gets frizzy. Okay. These are Airform Guidelines. These are actually state board guidelines, okay, for air forming. So the first one is to use a heat protected styling lotion, which I really think those first and second ones should be flipped. Okay, the second one is to towel blot and then use the blow dryer to remove 90% of the water before you start to style it. And what he's doing down here in this picture is actually doing the styling part of it. So you don't want to set a round brush on somebody that has sopping wet hair. That's just it's too much work. Then the brush is going to get tangled up in the hair on top of it. So these are the main heating settings that they have for you. You want to dry the hair on a high setting, okay? That 90%? Yeah. Okay, dry the hair on the high setting. You want to style the hair on a medium setting, and then you're going to put it on a cool setting to basically set that curl in. So if I got rid of most of the moisture on high, then on that picture that's down here where he's got the round brush, okay, that's going to be my setting. But when I want it to cool off, what I'm going to do is remove the blow dryer from that same area, leave the brush in that form around the hair, let it cool off a minute, and then I can take the brush out. That like actually sets that curl in there, that softness. All right. The next one is style and dry in the direction of the cuticle scales, which means you're going to go down the hair shaft because the cuticles are starting to lift when you blow dry them. And when you use a flat iron, you're trying to make them go flat against the hair. Once they've been flat, the light reflects right off of it, makes the hair look really shiny and healthy. When the cuticle scales are up, it looks dry and damaged. Okay, so you're always going to go down the shaft. The next one is to keep that dryer 3 to 5 inches away from the hair. He's not actually doing that in that picture. Can you see that? I watch a lot of hairdressers do that a lot. I'm like, got to get that a little bit farther away because you're going to burn that hair. All right, and the last one is to use caution with damaged and lightened hair. And that's exactly what he's doing right here, is lightened hair. Okay, it might be a blonde, but it's still got highlights in it. So those are all test questions for board. Okay. Then we have our finger styling, okay? And this is a technique in which your fingers are used to manipulate and style the hair as it's dried with the blow dryer, okay? You're just picking up that hair, like in scrunching to get underneath that hair so that you're not pulling the curls out, you're leaving the curls in and letting that that heat flow through there. So scrunching is a form of finger styling that involves gently squeezing the hair lengths as the hair is dried using a diffuser to introduce a textured pattern that the hair responds to naturally. I've taken someone and had them flip their head all the way over and dry it that way, or to lean back into a chair kind of like this so that the hair comes away from the scalp. Give them a little bit of fullness without stretching that curl out. Okay. All right, here we go for a round brush. We're going to airform with that round brush. It allows you to dry the hair quickly as you change the form, direction, and texture of that hair. Okay, smaller brushes are going to be used for shorter hairstyles and a curlier look. The larger brushes are used for a smoother result or on longer hair. Okay, the metal cores that are in that brush that you see the illustration right here, okay, they're going to retain the heat and create a stronger curl pattern. Okay, because you can actually use that curling iron and get the same type of a curl that you would with a roller set or with a curling iron, but with a round brush if you're doing it correctly. It's just a softer curl. Okay. Okay, hair pressing, AKA silking. That's a state board question also. Okay, it's the technique used for temporarily straightening curly or tightly curled hair. And the hair pressing steps are as follows. You're going to shampoo and condition the hair. You're going to air dry with tension. Okay, you're going to apply a protective oil or cream to the hair. And then you're going to use the hot pressing comb or the silking iron on small sections of the hair. I don't know if we talked about this last week, but the hair is actually being straightened with a tension on the back of that comb. It's using the spine to straighten the hair, not the teeth, okay? These are used in an oven or a stove is what they're called. Or they have electric ones now. So these are our hair pressing techniques. On fine hair, it must be treated gently. So you're going to use less heat and less pressure to avoid breakage. This means you're going to apply that pressing on the top one time and on the bottom one time.
No, leave it.
You might want to take your voice, your sound off, hon. Jessica? Okay. All right, so does everyone understand what I mean by actually combing through it on the top part of the strand of hair and then on the bottom part of the hair? Okay, with your pressing comb? Apparently you do, because no one's answering me. That's what I'm going to take is like, yes, okay?
Yes.
No,
All
I
right.
got it.
Good. Okay, so medium hair, okay, is basically less difficult to press, and it requires no particular precautions, but you're always going to do a strand test before you start to put it on their hair. This one's going to take 2 straightening on the top and 1 on the bottom. And then coarse or tightly curled hair should be, because it's more resistant, and it's going to tolerate a little bit more heat and a little bit more pressure, you're going to do 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom as far as your pressing combs. Okay? Now that fine hair, we consider that to be a soft press. Even the medium hair could be a soft press. But the coarse hair was going to be a hard press, okay, when you're doing it twice. Here comes that pressing comb, okay? It's used to apply the heat and tension to temporarily straighten that tightly curled hair, okay? And it's used on dry hair, and it's heated against the hair. Do you see how it's pulling through on the spine? She's just using the teeth, but the back of the spine is doing the actual straightening. You're always going to check the temperature when you're working with the stove heated thermal irons by testing that iron on a white paper towel. If you start to see a brown mark on there, okay, it's too hot. Wait till it cools down a little bit, okay? You have to remember that metal will continue to get hot and hotter and hotter. It doesn't have a temperature gauge on it. Not like the ones that are electric where it'll only heat just so high. These will actually just keep getting hotter and hotter when you use the stoves or the ovens. So you have to be very careful that you don't burn someone's hair. I watched a teacher take the comb away from one of the students and said, you know, let me try that thing. I don't want you to burn that poor woman's head, and took her bangs completely off. I was like, oh, and it was stuck to the iron. I was just like, oh, no. Okay, hair pressing, it basically talks about two types of pressing combs, okay? You have the regular one, which is the one that they're showing right there. It's used with an oven or a stove to heat it up. And then you have an electric one, which is actually plugged into an outlet. And this is the one that actually has a regulated temperature gauge on there. But both of them, regular and electric, you're always going to test them before you apply it to the client's head. Okay, so here we go. Our soft press is pressing the hair once with less pressure and heat, and your hard press is pressing the hair twice with more pressure and more heat. Basically what I was talking about before, okay? The slides are moving, yes? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so it's still working. Your thermal irons, okay, these are your curling irons, and they're used to create the complete designs and to impart that texture pattern on dry hair. And it's available in these different types also. So that first one would be your regular Marcel curling iron, okay? The second one is flat iron that you guys are familiar with. The third one would be a crimping iron, okay? It gives you that automatic kind of finger wave bend to it. And then the undulating irons, okay? And that's more like a finger wave, okay? But it's actually going vertical down, or horizontal down, excuse me. Okay. All right, here we go back to thermal curling, and it's the process of adding curl texture to hair by applying that heat to dry hair from either an electric or a stove heated curling iron or other types of thermal irons. The texture also can be straight, crimped, or undulating, just like those pictures you just saw. The earliest thermal irons were called curling irons. They were introduced by Marcel Waves in 1875. And these irons are some of the most frequently used styling implements available today. I tell you, clients that use these irons are going to be very faithful if they find somebody they like and can do their hair, okay? And it's a lot of money, believe it or not. Okay, the curling iron contains a heating element inside that's controlled by a thermostat. Remember I was talking about it actually having a shutoff valve inside there, okay? Where your regular irons, when they're used with the stove, they are not. So you need to look at all of the parts of that iron. You have the rod handles where we hang on to it, we hold it with our hands, okay? The shell handle is being moved with your baby finger, okay? The barrel is where the hair is placed, and that groove closes on top of that hair so we can seal it in there so we can make the final curl, okay? Most of you have probably never used a Marcel before. You've used a spring action, okay, on a curling iron. This one is really a lot better if you can actually get it in there. Get the hang of it, it's not that bad. It just takes a little while to get used to it. I don't even like to use the spring irons anymore once I started to use the curling iron. All right, this is how you're going to properly hold that curling iron. Determined by the comfort and control, so you just have to hang on to it and actually work it with your fingers to find out where you feel comfortable with that iron. Some prefer to use their little finger to open the iron and other fingers to close it, and some prefer to use the little finger and the ring finger to open the iron. So do all of you have a curling iron at home that works like this, Marcel?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So you can actually practice to see which one you feel comfortable. Believe it or not, it does you kind of get the hang of it. Once you put it in your hand, you're like, oh, okay, this feels good. I can actually work this way, or you can work that way. The hardest part is trying to get those little ends in at the very end without losing the curl when you try to wrap it around. Because when you apply hair onto this curling iron, you're not going to take the ends first. You're going to go mid-shaft, and then you're going to click until you get the ends in there. Because if you think about it, that curling iron's hot. And you're not going to put the ends in because the ends are going to be the weakest part of the hair, right? So they don't need as much heat. But the mid shaft of the hair, where it's the healthiest, is going to need to be curled. Okay, so a little bit longer. So you start there and you work your way down the shaft. Okay. All right, these are your thermal iron considerations. You want to clean that thermal iron by running a fine grade steel wool around the circumference of the barrel while it is still slightly warm. And this is usually because it picks up hairspray and products that you use on the hair will stick to that barrel after a while. You're going to close a hot iron lightly on a damp towel before curling it, especially on extremely damaged or lightened hair. What you will be doing is doing a test strand on that one also. So what we end up doing is put a paper towel, okay, between the barrel and the clamp and see if it turns brown, okay? And if it is, it's too hot to put onto the hair, just like you do when you're trying to test the combs, okay? Close a hot iron lightly on a damp towel before curling it. Extremely damaged hair, this is doing it because it's too hot to, even when you put it on and test it, even though it's not brown on the towel, I guess you could say. You're gonna choose an iron that has even heat distribution, okay? Some of them on the very end, especially if they're spring irons, you have this little plastic thing on the end of it so that you can hold it, because on the Marcel, you can't hold the other end with your hand. You have to use just one handle to put that hair in there, okay? But anytime that changes from like a ceramic to a metal, you're gonna get the metal one's gonna be hot and just continue to get hotter. Ceramics are a little bit more even temperatured all the way through. And they're found in flat irons. Okay, so here's our curling iron technique, okay? That first one's known as base to ends technique, which means we start at the base, okay? And we're going to actually make one rotation and slide it just a little bit down. This is kind of hard to show you on a video. You really do need to see this. The other one is ends to base, where you're going to place the ends in first, okay? But on very, I guess, chemically treated hair or very fine hair, you really don't want to put those ends to base in first. At board, when you take your final your exam there, they're going to have you do a base to ends and not an ends to base technique, okay? Or just your ends technique, which means you're just going to curl the very end of the hair, maybe up or bump it under. Okay, your Marcel technique is trying to make a finger wave in the hair. Okay, so you're combing a little bit, curling it, and then moving that iron down the shaft so that you can make that wave. And then you have the spiral technique, okay? And it still starts at the base and works its way down the hair shaft, okay? But now it's in a corkscrew kind of pattern, okay? Does everybody understand what I mean by base to ends? Okay, you're gonna be starting at the base of the hair and work the iron down as far as curling it. The ends to base means you're going to start at the ends and work towards the base. The ends technique, you're only going to curl the ends, whether it be up or down. Your Marcel is trying to make a finger wave, and the spiral is giving you a corkscrew, kind of like a spiral perm. Okay. We're going through this again. Your base to ends, you're going to position that iron slightly away from the base. Turn the iron 1/2 a revolution towards the scalp, okay? And then you're going to turn the iron away from the scalp in the same direction to make a complete revolution, okay? And then you're going to repeat this until you get the entire hair strand fed into the iron, okay? So can you guys see what's going on here? It's starting out on the first one, it's giving that first 1/2 revolution around there. That hair is going to be brought up. In the second one, it goes around that barrel underneath, comes up, And you're just basically clicking it in until you get the whole shaft of the hair into that curling iron. Especially down at the ends. And you try not to lose the ends, because the first couple of times you're trying to do this, you lose the ends because you're not real familiar how tight you need to hold that iron. Okay, so here's your ends to base. It's appropriate to be used on shorter hair lengths, okay? It's a curl pattern that's stronger at the ends and weaker towards the base, okay? And it's usually used on longer hair. Okay. All right, do you see what's going on there? Just the ends and you're rolling up to that base. Okay, here's another technique, and it's just doing the ends. It's going to create a curved under or a flipped up effect, okay? That flipped up means indentation, by the way. Okay, that one's pretty easy to remember, right? Okay. Then you have your Marcel technique, okay? And this is going to create the Marcel waves, or what we know as alternating oblongs along the hair strand, giving you that nice little finger wave. See how it makes it in that second picture? It's really kind of pretty. Okay.
Yeah, but what I don't understand is how do you make the pattern? Like, what do you do with the Marcel?
Okay, so you're going to actually close that barrel on there, on that first wave, right? Actually, it's the first bump, I guess, on that second picture, right? You know, it goes in and then it comes back out of the hair, right?
Yeah.
It's puffed out. Okay, that's the part that's around the barrel. Then you're going to take that comb, like in the first picture, and you're going to slide it just a little bit to the other side. Okay, and then you're going to take that iron out and put it into the next section right underneath it.
Oh, you leave the comb there?
Yes. Okay, so it's trying to, you're like comb, you've got the Marcel here and the comb's pulling this way, and then you're going to come up underneath it and then pull it again the other way. You see what's going on?
Yeah, interesting.
Okay, it is interesting. It's pretty though, huh?
Yeah, very.
Well, you can still get that same effect if you wanted to do a wet set, like finger wave the entire head. But this one gives a little bit more volume, I think. Okay, then you have your curling iron techniques, which is a spiral one, okay? And this creates the elongated spiral curls. This is kind of funny too, because when clients will come in and they say, okay, they want a perm, and they'll usually bring you in a picture of somebody that's curled, not perm curled, but curled with a curling iron. And they're like, I want to have a perm like that. And you're like, okay, wait a minute, that's not the same kind of curl you're going to get, because obviously you can tell the difference between something that's been curled with an iron and one that's from a perm. So make sure you can understand what your client's asking when you get a perm, or she just wants a spiral curling iron effect. Okay, and here are your special effects, okay? So we have straightening when we use our flat irons. It consists of 2 flat plates, okay? And it results in straightened hair. What it's doing is closing the cuticle all the way down the shaft, okay? Once that cuticle is closed, light can reflect off the hair, and that's why it looks shiny, okay? Then you have your crimping irons, and they consist of 2 plates that have an angular or serrated pattern. Okay, it kind of goes up, down, up, down, up, down, I guess you could say. And then you have your undulating irons, and this consists of 2 undulating or curved plates that create the S pattern. So it's kind of like having 2 curling irons in one, all right? And it results in that undulating wave pattern. Can you see the 2 barrels that are on that bottom picture? Right where the handle is, there's a bar that goes across right there, and there's an iron, like a barrel above it and a barrel below it. Can you see that? Like right there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now that one looks like it would go into an oven, but they do make electric ones like that also. All right, our infection control and safety. All right, number 1, we're going to exercise caution when we're using the thermal irons, especially on chemically treated hair, highlighted, you know, bleached, okay, even over-processed perms. All right, the second one is you're going to test the temperature of the thermal iron or pressing combs before applying them to the client's hair. How would we do that? How do we test the temperature?
On a paper towel.
Thank you, on a paper towel, good. Okay, the third one, okay, is exercise caution when you're working around the hairline, okay? They've got ears, so be careful. And they have a forehead underneath that iron, okay? So you want to be very careful around that hairline. All right, we always usually place a comb underneath that so that the iron has a barrier between that, the skin and the iron. Fourth one is avoid having the teeth of the pressing comb come in contact with the client's scalp or skin. Why do you think that you want to do this? Avoid having those teeth. Because they're really hot. Okay, they're gonna burn. All right. Number 5, disconnect or turn off the appliances when the station is unattended. Okay, you really want to make sure that that shuts itself off and that cords aren't dangling, okay? There's always going to be somebody that walks by and knocks it off by accident, so you want to be very careful. All right, and the 6th one is to use the lower temperatures and shorter contact time on that chemically altered hair. Okay, so you just have to be careful of chemically altered hair, bleached, okay, highlighted. All right. 7, you want to clean the metal portions with a fine steel wool around the diameter of the barrel. Sometimes we've taken a little bit of alcohol when the iron is shut off, okay, when it's like actually cooled down, I should say, and a towel to get that sticky like hairspray off, or hair product, could be mousse or whatever that's being stuck to that curling iron. And then 8, you're going to flush the burns with cold water and let the skin cool completely. It says blot and apply a first aid cream. Actually, when you're doing that burn, you just want to put water on there, okay? You don't want to put anything on there because we're afraid that if there is a blister, it might break and then it might get infected. So just cold water. And 9, avoid pressing the hair too often, okay? 10, the thermal iron procedures are always performed on dry hair, not on wet hair, because it'll steam up. And then 11, it'll also burn it. Okay, 11, protect the client's scalp by positioning that hard rubber or non-flammable comb underneath the curling iron. So as you're making your way down to that base, that comb is going to go right underneath that so that it doesn't touch, the iron doesn't touch the scalp. Always, always. All right, so the thermal styling procedure overview, okay? We have an air forming solid form, scrunching layered form, air forming graduated form, a 9-row brush, air forming layered form with a round brush, air forming combination form with a 9-row brush, and air forming combination form with a round brush curling iron, and pressing and curling. Okay, I'm gonna actually stop right here, okay? Because we'll start up on this tomorrow. There's no need in going into that right now because I wanted to make sure I gave you a couple minutes so that you could log off and then get on to Ms. Becky's site, right? Does everybody have the new room number, like the passcode and the number?
No.
No?
I don't have any.
No,
Okay.
I didn't get it either.
No, me either.
All right, just hang on a minute. I'm going to go and make sure that I get it from somebody else to make sure she's still here, okay? So give me just like 2 minutes, 3 minutes here. I'll be right back.
All right.
No, we have to give it to you guys.
Leah.
Yeah. Hey, girl.
I meant to text you before I came on to tell you I was coming back today.
Oh, wow. I was like, I see her out here. Okay.
You gotta come over. I feel so much better.
No, you look good.
That was the worst 2 weeks of my life.
Girl, I'm already know. That shit crazy.
I have contraction every now and again, but not like they ain't coming back to back like they were.
Right. And you gonna be there on Thursday?
Yeah. Thursday.
Okay. Mm,
I don't want to take too much time off, and then I want to take a leave of absence when I have her. That's too much time off.
right, right. So yeah, you gotta save it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. All right, you guys still there? Okay, this is only
Yeah.
only for the ROPs. Let me stop this screen share here. Okay. There we go. Okay, so it's only for the ROPs at night. Okay, she said if you're on there and you don't belong on there, she'll just tell you have to leave. Okay, so just an FYI. All right, so those of you that are supposed to be on there, here's the number. Okay, you got a pen, everyone? Pencil? Okay, the number is 526 511 9438. And if it asks for a passcode, it's the same number. Okay? So that number again is 526 511 9438.
Okay, so what do the Cosmos do? We just stay here? Or
No, you're finished for this particular part of the day. Okay?
where do we go from here? I'm confused.
Where do you go from here?
Yeah,
Okay,
well, I haven't been here for 2 weeks, so this is all different.
I know, I'm sorry. And it is kind of rough. Did they give you a package or something to follow that you're supposed to do?
No,
Like,
I got a text message that told me to be in this room at 1 o'clock, and that's it.
that's it, huh? Okay, I'm gonna find out what's going on. Give me 1 second.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
you know what? I'll call Donovan. I'll call right now and ask him.
Okay, honey, I was gonna find out for you too, because it should have been up there for you guys. Okay, to tell you
All
what
right.
you
I don't
need to
know
do.
either though.
Okay,
I
well,
wasn't
let me
here last
find
week.
out, okay?
I'll wait.
All right. Hello? Okay, no one's answering. Okay, let me find out who's on. Okay. Donovan?
Yes.
Hello?
Oh, sorry.
Donovan?
Yeah, just grab some.
Oh, sorry. Okay, do you have assignments? Did they make assignments for the
I'm sorry.
Cosmos
I
for the rest
totally
of the
forgot
day?
about that part because usually you don't have to do that. I don't know why. What's going on with y'all dishwasher?
Okay, well, some of them are saying no, that's why. And I tried to call the teacher's office, nobody answered, so,
You don't have to do that, so I forgot.
okay. All right. Okay. I don't know what either one of them are. Okay, thanks. Okay, they were supposed to post it last week. Did they not post it last week on the zip?
I don't have anything.
No.
No.
I didn't get anything.
On nobody, huh? Okay, let me look on here myself.
I have this code, and then at the end of the message, it just says if I'm stuck in the waiting room.
I know, huh? I'm sorry, I'm trying to find out.
I'm so confused.
Like, I know, me too. Because I'm like, what are they supposed to be doing? Okay, I'm like, they don't know. Okay, give them a second for them to pick it up, okay? The rest of you, you can actually leave the class if you have to sign on to Miss Becky's class, you know, the ones that are going to. Okay.
No other Cosmos know where we're
I
supposed
know,
to go.
huh? I'm still trying to find out. Hello?
We got a handout.
Huh?
So we had got a handout.
If you want to hang on here for a minute, I will go find out, okay?
All right.
Answering the phone.
Oh, take a picture of it and text it to me, Leah.
Yeah, well.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Keisha.
Okay, it's good. So you can. Like, I just
Yes,
didn't know.
I can see you. I was like, hold on, is that her or what?
I was like, I texted Liz too, and I was like, Liz, can you see me? Like, I don't want to say nothing and look hella stupid.
I can see you.
Hey, I'm gonna be back Thursday, hopefully.
Yay!
Okay, you better come too.
Huh?
You better come too.
I am. I was hella confused. Like, I don't get no text or anything like to like come on here. So I was just sitting here like, fuck it. I went on the Barbara one, so it was awkward. They kicked me out.
Oh my God, no.
Okay, you guys there? Okay, who was here on Thursday or Friday? Because Miss Connie gave you guys a package on Friday. She actually handed it out Friday and Saturday, but nobody was here on Saturday, but 2 people. So here is your work.
I was in the school last week, so I didn't get a packet. Ashley.
Okay, Jocelyn. She just logged on. Our theory is over.
No, I said Ashley.
Oh, you're Ashley? I'm trying to let somebody
Yeah,
know.
I've been here since 1, so.
Okay, I just let somebody know.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay. All right, so it says for Tuesday or Thursday, it says you're watching your Zoom at 1 o'clock and it says answer the following at least 2 sentences. Okay, what type of hairstyling do you think you'd be best at and why? Okay, why is an analysis of the style important? What is your favorite styling tool and why? I can't hear you, hon. Ashley, your sound's off.
Can you guys screenshot that and send it to us? Because I didn't get that either.
Okay, I'll have her.
Yeah, could you just send it in the group message?
Yeah, I don't know how to send it as a Cosmo group message, but I will have Miss Connie do it. Okay? I will have Miss Connie do it. Okay? All right, so it will be on the zip. All right?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
All righty.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.